um, to monitor or manage production like fashion house. We are going to create different products, um, different raw materials. So let's create fabrics, button, zip, and maybe let's just create those three products as raw materials. So you come and add new product. So the fabrics name, let's say is we'll put the name of the fabric there, Ankara, Ankara green. Then unit could be in length, in yards. So since we don't have that unit called yards, we can quickly create a unit and name it yard. So we're going to create yards, yards, YD is a short name, and allow decimal yes, and 1.5 yards, stuff like that, the possibles, and then we select the location it belongs to. How much do you guys per yard? Let's say it's 224 per yard. And how much is the selling price? Since you're not selling, possibly you can just put maybe your same 24 there, right? Mind you, you are not selling this product, so you mark it not for selling. Then you click on save and add stock, right? So how many yards do you have? So let's say we purchase 50 yards, right? We purchase 50 yards, and then we proceed to save. So we're going to repeat the same process now for button and zip. So we've created the button. So let's create another service like embroidery. So instead of creating it as a service, right? Because if you create it as a service, it will not be available for us to use on the point of sale, on the production module. You get now? You can only use service. When you create anything as service, you can only use it under invoicing here. So you can't use it on POS or under production module. So we're going to create it like this instead. We're going to create it as a product, but we mark it as a service so that it will be available. So once we have it like this, right? Instead of to mark it as a service, we uncheck this to not manage stock. So it's going to now look like a service. You get. So since it is a service, you can as well render it to other people. You understand? In case they bring it to you to do, it's like an embroidery. So you might not necessarily activate not for selling for that. So you can say embroidery. You get now. So you carry out embroidery for the clothes. Select your location, then you put the cost and the selling. You can make them the same price. So let's say your embroidery is 5,000. You also put 5,000 as the selling. Then you click on save. So now that we've created all the needed raw materials that we need, now let's go to yeah, you can add wood, all those stuff. You can do them as well. But for this sake, we're just going to use those three. So we go to production now. Now, before we do production, now let's go back to our product and service. We have to create our finished product. Should you get now? We have to create our finished product, the name of our finished product that we want to produce. So let's create the name of the finished product now. You can say the finished product name is uh, English Ankara suit. Get that now? English Ankara suit is the name of that product. So this one is I'm managing stock and I'm not activating not for selling, we are selling it. So the unit will be in pieces. Then we'll come straight down to business location. It's going to be available here. You can leave the purchasing price at 0. Basically put our selling price. Maybe our selling price is 55,000, right? So we're basically going to save. We're not adding stock, we are saving. We just save it like that because the cost quantity will be produced locally. So now we're going to come straight back to purchases now. Sorry, come to purchases could be for our raw material. You can go to the market and buy the raw material, Ankara, the button, side button, and stuff like that. So we go to production now. So that's what you always purchase for production now. Purchase will be used to restock your raw materials. You understand? So we are going to production now. So what do you want to create? Click on add. So what are we creating? You search the products Ankara English Ankara sheet. So we select that. What are the raw material? We don't have anything to copy here. We just continue. So we can now add the raw material. So we can search the Ankara green, right? The style button, right? We can add yes, we can add the embroidery. Yes, so these are the three raw materials. We might not put any quantity there. By default it's showing 1 1, so that's the reason why it's giving us the sum, total sum. So because our final quantity might be more than all this, so we just leave it like that. We don't need to put anything here, just leave it like that and just click on save. So which means we've attached the end product to the raw material that we want to use. Now let's produce. So this is our recipe, you understand now? So let's produce. We come to production now. You add production. So what do you want to produce? You select the location. Location is today. Okay, you select this is the raw material. This is the final product that we've fixed, and this is all we want to produce and the quantity. So how many quantity of this Ankara English Ankara suit do we want to produce? Let's say we want to produce 10. Let's say we're producing 10 pieces. Now that we've input that, so how many raw materials of Ankara grain do we want to use? The Ankara grain, so we know is in the unit is in yards. So how many yards are we using? So let's say we are using 20 yards, right? We're using 20 yards to produce the total quantity we want to produce. Then as well, you know the cost price is already programmed already. So how many buttons are we? So let's say we'll be using per one now. Let's say for one we are using 5 buttons. So if you are producing 10, that's 50 buttons. So mind you, we don't have up to that. So let's just say we are using the whole 15 buttons, right? So then the embroidery, we are doing 10 embroidery for all those clothes. Then so the system will give us our cost. So this is the raw material cost, total cost raw material. So what of the cost of production cost like energy cost, workmanship cost, you know, there's some other costs we've not added, like raw material it didn't had, like thread and stuff like that. You can still attach them, but let's say our total extra cost is now, let's say it's now let's assume all our total extra cost is like 80,000 naira, energy cost and workmanship cost. You understand now? So we add. So this is our total cost, 179 for the 10 unit pieces we are producing. You don't finalize that to submit. The reason why we won't do that yet is because we're giving them raw materials now to go and produce. So while producing, they might come back and say the raw materials is not enough. They might come back and say the total raw materials we have cannot produce 10, only produce 8. And there's need to do correction. So that's the reason why you'll be able to have this edit button. But assuming you finalize, you won't be able to edit. You understand now? So, and in some scenario, they might say, we produce more than what you even want to produce. Let's say it's 11 that will now produce. They can now edit it, you understand now, and go back to the quantity to be produced, which is 11, and increase it. If it's that it need more raw materials, they can now come back here and add more raw materials, you understand now. So that's the essence of that finalized button. Now that you have confirmed that, okay, or it's they have produced 10, they don't need raw materials, they don't need it, you can now finalize and submit. On submitting, it simply means that we've produced our finished product. So this is a production we just did, and this stock will be available in the inventory for that particular production that we did for this end product of English Ankara suits. So let's go to product and service now to check our English Ankara suits. So let's search for the English Ankara suit. You see the quantity available for it. English Ankara suit. See our English Ankara suits now. So do you see our 10 pieces available now that we just manufacture? If you come straight here and come to product stock history, you see how the system will tell us of how production was done. Can you see? So we select the location. So look at it now. So we have 10 production that we did. So we manufactured 10, and that's the reason why we have 10 stock. So they can now go to the point of sale now to sell. So it's possible now that they want to sell to a customer, or they want to display it and they want to sell to a customer. You can search your product to sell now. English Ankara, right? That's it. You can increase the quantity by selling 3, right? And then we click on cash, right? So we just sold 3 of our English Ankara suits. Understand? We generate our invoice for the English Ankara suit. Can you see that now? That's the and if you go back now, you can go and check the stock we have left of the English Ankara of our English Ankara suit. And mind you, all those raw materials that we utilize, those Ankara, the style button, use purchase to restock. You understand now? To have more quantity of the raw materials. So let's search for the English Ankara suit. So as you can see now, product stock history, our English Ankara suit remained should remain 7 since we sold 3. So our English Ankara suit should remain 7. Can you see that now? Invoice of sales. So that's just a quick overview to help you understand how Prokip can be used by a fashion house or a fashion business. Thank you. If you have any question, you can reach out to me again. Thank you.